How have you been doing since last visit?
Pretty much the same, kind of like we talked about before. Just feeling sad all day, having a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, and just kind of finding the motivation to start my day. It's been really difficult.
Okay. So based on what you were telling me last time, you and your fiance had recently broken up, and after that breakup, you started feeling feelings of hopelessness and unworthiness, and feeling like you were unable to get out of bed. You had mentioned that you really didn't enjoy things that you typically enjoyed, like spending social time with friends and things like that. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on what you're describing to me, it sounds a lot like major depressive disorder. And typically in major depressive disorder, we see things exactly like you're talking about, the inability to enjoy things you would typically enjoy, the feelings of sadness, even kind of feeling physically down, like you don't want to get out of bed. Okay? So what do you think about that?
That pretty much sounds like me, yeah.
Like pretty much sums it up. Okay. Well, the good thing is that many people every year, millions of people, in fact, are diagnosed and experience symptoms of major depressive disorder. And major depressive disorder is something that's very treatable, and many of the people that suffer from symptoms of depression are able to overcome those symptoms and live very happy and fulfilling lives. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things that we can do to treat major depressive disorder is something called brief cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is very proven in the research to be an effective method of treating depression and alleviating the symptoms of major depressive disorder. One of the premises behind cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of the relationship between behaviors or incidents and the feelings that we experience. So, for example, with your specific situation, I think one of the kind of precipitating events in this was the breakup between you and your fiance. Okay, and you also described feelings of sadness there. One of the things that we found is that typically between these incidents and the feelings, there are automatic thoughts associated with this feeling of sadness. So in between the event, which would have been the breaking up of you and your fiance, and the feeling of sadness, can you identify some of the thoughts that you may have been thinking in between then?
Gosh, I don't know, maybe like it's all my fault, or,
Okay.
afraid that I'm not going to be able to find anyone again like
Okay.
that.
Okay. So what I heard you say was self-blame and feeling like you're not going to be able to find anyone. So that's a really great example of the impact that automatic thoughts can have on our feelings. And one of the things that we can do in cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of address those maladaptive or even at times completely incorrect thoughts and replace them with more appropriate and correct thoughts so that hopefully the goal is that we can have an improvement in our feelings. So your feelings of sadness may be alleviated. And also, when we do cognitive behavioral therapy, we also focus on the impact that behavior that can have on our feelings as well. So, for example, I know that with major depression, you're kind of really feeling down, feeling like you don't want to get out of bed. But oftentimes what we find is that if you kind of force yourself to socialize and spend time with friends, that can lead to more positive feelings of happiness and inclusion and things like that. Okay, so how does all this sound to you? Am I explaining this well enough?
Yeah, I think so. I never thought about it like that, but it makes sense.
Okay, yeah, and as I said, cognitive behavioral therapy is very effective in treating depression because depression, we can easily identify the thoughts and feelings associated with all of these things. So
Yeah.
okay. So one of the things that's indicative of cognitive behavioral therapy is the use of homework. We want to get you out and back into your normal life as soon as possible. And so some of the work, or I would say a lot of the work that we're going to do is going to be done at home as well.
Okay.
And one of the things that we can do, or that I like to do, is something called a thought record.
Okay.
So as I said before, that one of the goals is to hopefully identify and replace maladaptive or inappropriate thoughts with more appropriate and accurate thoughts to improve the mood.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the first step in that process. So what I'd like for you to do between now and next time is to identify 3 or 4 situations that you experience throughout the week And these can be anything from maybe a friend cancels a meeting with you or something like that. And then try and identify the automatic thought associated with that.
Okay.
And then there's likely, as we discussed before, going to be an emotion or mood associated with that as well. And I would like for you to rate your emotion or mood that you feel on a scale of 1 to 100. Do you think you can do this between now and the next time we meet?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds great. So I think we'll make a plan to meet next week, and I will talk to you then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.